Welcome back to 87.9 Sports Talk, your home for everything Detroit Lions football. And here today is your midseason Detroit Lions report. But first, the big news currently is, first, let's get to the fact that Raphael Bush has completely healed from his injury, and he will be back in the starting lineup this week. But now, the big news is that Jim Caldwell has opted to bring back starting quarterback Matthew Stafford early from his injury. Now, Johnny Manziel, he's been okay, but he's not getting the job done. The Lions have lost their last 5 games after obliterating the Packers 44-14 back in week 3, and Jim Caldwell is most definitely on the hot seat right here. So Matthew Stafford is going to return this week against the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank Stadium, which is big time news for Detroit Lions fans as they want to try to salvage their season. Now Marvin Jones, on the other hand, Caldwell has opted to stick with his core receivers, Anquan Boldin, Corey Fuller. He's going to have those guys step up and let Jones heal fully from his injury before he comes back. So it'll be up to Anquan Boldin and the rest of those guys to step up and keep playing well. Now let's look at the standings right here in the NFC North, as well. Here's a look at Stafford. He is going to be a bit dinged up here. You can see he looked a little hurt in practice, and he will definitely be a little dinged up, but he is definitely, I'm sorry, Johnny Football, but he's a better option than you and Dan Lefevre at quarterback. And Lefevre is injured. By the way, he was hurt in the Texans' blowout loss last week. So now let's look at the standings here. You can see the New England Patriots and the San Diego Chargers have the best record in the AFC, followed by the Kansas City Chiefs, 7-1, 7-1, 6-1. Then you have the Bengals, Jets, Dolphins at 5-3. No, Dolphins at 4-3. Then a logjam of teams at 4-4, 3-4. Raiders and Bills at 3-5. Titans at 2-6. Browns at 1-7, and the Pittsburgh Steelers a surprising 0-7. Although Big Ben is out. In the NFC, the Washington Redskins lead at 6-2. You got the Seahawks, Rams, Giants, Eagles, and Panthers all at 5-2. The Cowboys, Saints at 4-3. Bunch of teams at 3-4 and 3-5. Good to note that the Cowboys do get starting quarterback Tony Romo back from injury. And now looking at the divisions, the Cincinnati Bengals lead the AFC North 5-3. Steelers a surprising 0-7. AFC South, Texans and Colts at the top. Jaguars and Texans a little bit behind. AFC East, we have the Patriots, the Jets at the top. Dolphins and Bills a little bit behind. And in the AFC West, the Chargers and the Chiefs are dominating. The Broncos and the Raiders, however, are falling out of contention quickly. Looking at the horrible NFC North, the Packers are 2-5, Bears are 2-6, and the Lions are actually last in the division now at 2-6. The NFC South features the Panthers, the Saints, the Bucks, and the Falcons. Well, yeah, you know what the teams are. I don't know what I'm saying. You saw their records. NFC is actually really competitive here. 3 teams at 5-2 or better, and the NFC West, the Seahawks and the Rams both at 5-2. Cardinals at 3-5, 49ers at an unsurprising 2-5. So now let's take a quick look here at each team's injury report. I'm not going to say anything other than the Cowboys, as I think I already told you guys this, but Tony Romo returned from injury for Dallas, and here is the rest of the injury report for you guys to see.
Techno music.
Alright, now that you have seen all the injuries, let's take a look at the stats from around the league. First, we're going to look at the Player of the Week stats, the weekly awards past few weeks. We saw weeks 1 through 4 in our first quarterly report. Now looking at week 5, Ezekiel Ansah won NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Ezekiel Elliott won NFC Offensive Player of the Week, week 6. Russell Wilson won NFC Offensive Player of the Week in week 7 and week 8. And Alfred Blue won NFC Offensive Player of the Week in week 8 after his performance against the Detroit Lions. Now let's look at some of the yearly awards. Your early favorite for MVP is Tom Brady. Not a surprise, Andy Dalton, Philip Rivers, and Coach of the Year Mike McCoy, Bill Belichick, and Jay Gruden. So now looking at the player stats from around the league. First, from our team, Matthew Stafford, 997 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 picks. Dan Lefevre, Johnny Manziel, and Jay Gruden. Those clowns have not been playing too well, and it's shown by the fact that the team is awful. Amir Abdullah has done absolutely nothing on the ground. Theoretic has also done even worse than that on the ground. And Golden Tate somehow has 434 yards receiving. Anquan Bolden has 241. Eric Ebron has 216. Marvin Jones has 182. And that's about it. Now looking at the defense, Glover, Quinn, Darius Slay, they lead in tackles. DeAndre Levy, there's Jonathan Bostic, Ezekiel Ansah. Tackles for loss, that goes to Devin Taylor and DeAndre Levy. And sacks, no surprise, Ezekiel Ansah already has 8.5 here. Interceptions though, Jonathan Bostic, Darius Slay with 3, Quandre Diggs, DeAndre Levy, Glover, Quinn with 2. And that's it for defense. Now let's take a look at the kicking stats. Matt Prater 4 of 8 on the season. He's been pretty horrible. And punting, it says Sam Martin has apparently not punted, and we know that's all false. So now let's look at the Viking stats as we will be facing them next. 1 second here. Teddy Bridgewater is their starting quarterback. Hope you get well soon in real life, Teddy. Sorry about your injury. But Teddy Bridgewater, 1,024 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 picks. Rushing, Adrian Peterson, 66 carries, 247 yards, and a touchdown, although he did miss a couple of weeks during the season. In terms of receiving, Darius Wright is their leading receiver. There's Charles Johnson, Laquan Treadwell. Stephon Diggs has not done much this season, but he's been off and on the injury report, and I believe he's injured, if I am correct. Tackles, Eric Kendricks leads in that category. Tackles for loss, Linval Joseph. Sacks, Everson Griffin and Brian Robeson. Interceptions, Terrence Newman has 2, and there are a few others with 1. Punting, Blair Walsh has been 6 of 7, and kicking, Blair Walsh 6-7. Brandon Fields has punted 24 times. Cordell Patterson has a kick return for a touchdown, and he's done nothing in the punt return game. So now let's look at the stats from around the league. Looking at that, Andy Dalton lighting up the league right now along with Tom Brady. 19 touchdowns for both of those guys through only 8 games, I believe both of them. There you can see the rest of the leaders in the yardage category. I'm sure Matthew Stafford would be up there if he did not get unfortunately injured. Looking at the touchdown passes, Andy Dalton has 19, Tom Brady has 19, Aaron Rodgers has 17, Philip Rivers has 17, Alex Smith with 15, Russell Wilson 14, Andrew Luck 13, Off-White Tanny, Ryan Tannehill 13, Brock Osweiler 12, Cam Newton 12, and a few others with 11, 10, and a lot of guys with 9. If you look at the interceptions, a surprising sight to see Aaron Rodgers leading the NFL in interceptions with 13. Matthew Stafford is up there with 10, although he did have an outlier 5 interception game. But Tyrod Taylor, he got paid, and he's having a pretty bad season. Garrett Grayson's already thrown 6 picks, filling in for Drew Brees. Derek Carr, he just had a 5 interception game against the Buccaneers. Jared Goff has not played that well. Looking at the pass completion percentage, first eligible guy would be Russell Wilson, 73% of his passes. Carson Palmer, 72%. Tom Brady, 70%. Sam Bradford, 70%. Drew Brees and Big Ben were both injured. Dan Lefevre, 69%, but he hasn't been starting all the games. Joe Flacco, he was injured. And yeah, so rushing, Ezekiel Elliott and DeMarco Murray, isn't that funny to see? Both of those guys lead the NFL in rushing yards. Then Vereen, Shady McCoy, Jamal Charles, Cedric Pierman up there, Bilal Powell, C.J. Anderson, Chris Thompson, some weird names on that list. Then rushing touchdowns, Robert Turbin already has 10, Teron Ward has 9, Elliott has 8, C.J. Prosise has 8, Rashad Jennings has 8, Antonio Andrews has 6, and there's a lot of other guys on that list. Let's look at the fumbles. Tim Hightower's already fumbled 5 times, and there are a few guys that have fumbled it more than that. Well, less than. What am I talking about? Less than that. Aaron Rodgers, 40 fumbles. All of those came against the Detroit Lions. Now looking at receiving yards, A.J. Green leading everyone in this category with 771 yards. Jordan Nelson, 639. Julio Jones, 638. Randall Cobb, 620. Antonio Brown, 609. Steve Smith, 601. And the rest of those guys, you can see right there. Bunch of your pretty good receivers. Nate Washington up there, that's a bit of a surprise. Sterling Shepard having a pretty good rookie season. Looking at the receiving touchdowns, Randall Cobb, Danny Amendola, A.J. Green, Steve Smith, Larry Fitzgerald, Devin Smith, Dorial Green, Beckham, Antonio Brown, Gary Barnidge, Josh Dotson. You know, your normal suspects. There's Kenny Stills on that list, though. He's not a normal suspect. But looking at tackles, Avery Williamson, Dwayne Harris, and the rest, you can see all those guys. Tackles for loss, J.J. Watt at 16. Derek Wolfe has 14, and you can see the rest of those guys. Sacks, Cameron Wake leads the AFC with 8.5, Justin Houston 8.0, J.J. Watt 8.0, Sheldon Richardson 8.0, and the rest. And then the NFC, Ezekiel Ansah leads with 8.0, DeForest Buckner, what a rookie season, already 8 sacks, he's on pace for 16 this season. That'd be one bright spot in a pretty bad 49ers team. And then looking at interceptions, Josh Norman has 4. Vernon Hargreaves having a great rookie season. He has 4. Kendall Fuller has 3, although he picked off Johnny Manziel twice. Then in the AFC, Javonte Davis has 7. Derek Johnson has 5. A few other guys up there, Buster Screen, Ray Malaluga, Joe Hayden. But that is it for stats. And then let's just have a quick talk about the team right now. So here's my opinion on this team. They're just not that, they weren't that good to begin with. So if you had your sights set for 10 wins, you would be mistaken. Because this team is not that good, let's face it. They really are. They are not that good, and it's going to be a second. It's going to take a few drafts before I believe they can become competitive again. You know, looking at some of the player negotiations, Bob Quinn has not re-signed any player with an expiring contract yet, which is somewhat surprising. I think he might get a deal done with Larry Warford. He has confirmed that Jeff Schwartz will not return next season. Anquan Bolden is likely to get a contract offer from Bob Quinn, but we will see on that. Sam Martin should get extended, but the rest of these guys, I don't know, man. Riley Reef is most likely not going to come back. He has not been good during his time in Detroit, and the Lions could afford to find an upgrade at right tackle. So that's it for us on 87.9 Sports Talk.